One of my biggest debts that I took on in life that still follows me right now as of today. And I wish I understood this in the beginning before I started to get myself into something that was going to carry over to me that cost me a lot. College debt. A lot of us is dealing with college debt right now. But another thing that kind of strikes me, that made me realize that I wish I had a little bit more knowledge. A lot of us just tend to think that going to college is the be all, but the problem is a person with a degree might tend to look at somebody and think that just because they have a degree, it means something. It means something to people that's using it. If you're not using it, it means nothing. It's just a piece of paper to you that you just say you have an achievement. But the realistic thing is, if you're not working or doing something with that degree that you end up investing all that time and money into, meaning the college debt, it become obsolete. And it's no different than a person like me that did not finish. I went to school for a 4-year degree and end up putting me into a lot of debt when it comes to college. Of course, those credits rack up. And a lot of us is dealing with this today. And the reason why it made me bring this, it made me talk about this because I was just thinking how a lot of people were just talking about how they can't get a home, they can't get certain loans because they don't qualify because of their debt, their college debt. And it have people actually working backwards. You have doctors, like doctors talking about that they're living almost close to paycheck to paycheck. When I seen that, I'm like, wait a minute, that's crazy how a doctor can make a lot of money, but at the same time, it depends on how much money that they're making that has to go towards, their degree that they end up getting, which is, understandable, but only understandable to the point of whereas though, how much debt do you need to go into making money? They say invest into yourself. But what is really investing into yourself? Because you have a lot of people out here that will probably most likely qualify to be somebody that makes a lot of money, but if they're not in a good position, as far as like financially, or their grades did not get them into the school or the school that they went for, even though they might have had the grades, but the school didn't accept them. It's so many obstacles people have to go through, but it is detrimental to your livelihood and your mental, whereas though you're a slave to these colleges. This student debt is something that I think a lot of parents need to really think hard about. Like when they're talking to their kids, if they're not able to take on a loan or get a scholarship, you really need to understand the things that you're going to school for. Because what I'm noticing now is you see a lot of people going to school talking about the most enrolled. They talk about women are the most enrolled. But that's the problem. Look where we at now. Most enrolled don't mean anything. They showing more and more guys now not going to college. Sad part about it is college is not needed in a lot of things that you're doing today, especially self-taught. I went to school for networking and programming, and one thing I end up learning that even though I'm in school for this and I'm learning it, I like it, but then I started to not like it. And I started realizing once I was a good 3.5 years in, this is not for me. I'm bored. I'm not only bored. It's not the thing about just being bored. Being bored is just a mental thing. Like if you're not liking something, then you already know that you need to move to something else, or you need to really try to think about the good things about what you're doing, so you can get a better outcome of it. But doing something that you have to invest your time in, homework in, and you're paying for it, and you're bored, ooh, that's a tough task to kind of tackle, because you'll be sitting there trying to figure out why you're doing this now. That's why they always say you can have a love for something, but then that love can kind of fade away. because it's like, yo, I'm not feeling this no more. It's like the same thing as eating the same thing every day. Eventually, you're going to grow tired of it. And that's what ended up happening, because I just felt like I don't want to be looking at computers all day. But that career change ended up costing me, because this is something that I invested my time and energy in, and at the end of the day, it left me with a lot of debt. Not to say that you still can have a life, but the problem is that debt is always going to be there. It's going to follow you, and you're going to have to pay it. And the sad part about it is, even paying it is strenuous, because when you look at the interest, you look at, like, when you used to get the Pell loans, I forgot what they call Pell Grant loans, not loans. They used to give a check. I remember they used to cut a check, and I used to be like, damn, that's what's up. Like, it felt like free money, but it's a gaslight. It's like it's the game. It's the game. You thinking that everything is sweet when you're in college, because you're going through the motions, you're getting stuff done, you're doing your thing, you're still going out. But at the end of the day, the way schools are set up, it has you in a position where as though you're not really thinking about the debt, the money that you're putting out, unless you're literally paying out of pocket. That's the only time. But how many of us are paying out of pocket? I can't say most, because most people are not paying out of pocket. And a lot of people are not in those type of positions, whereas though they can just pay a good 10 to maybe 20,000 out of pocket a semester, depending on where you at. And these credits are a nice amount of money. They're a nice amount of money, to the point where as though if you have a life and you have bills, you have overhead, that's the last of your worries of just thinking about school debt. So this is something that I say is very detrimental, and I think that it needs to be a class or an introduction, introductory. Did I say that right? People need to be introduced to debt when it comes to college. It needs to be a breakdown of, look, if you're looking to go to college, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to take you away from your goals and your aspirations and your plans. But one thing you need to think about, how are you going to pay for this? That needs to be the open presentation for presenting people with a college degree when they setting themselves up. It's a prep. But they're not going to do that, because it's not set up that way. It's set up for you to start and for you to stay there and for you to at least try to finish. But at the end of the day, it don't matter if you finish or not. If you start, you're going to pay. Nothing. Remember this. You will never go to college and start going to class, and all of a sudden, you ain't paying nothing. I remember one year. Oh man, I forgot what year it was. And I remember I got an email, and I ignored the email, and I happened to go to class, and a person came down to the class to get me out of class, and I was like, damn. I said, oh. I had to be the class at, believe it might have been maybe what, 3 in the evening? No, it might have been like, I forgot what time it was. But they came down. Next thing you know, when they took me down to the office, or should I say it was the college, whatever, the office, whatever. It's almost similar to high school. And they told me that something didn't get approved. Along with not getting approved, I had to sign this paper, and then they ran my credit, and I got approved for another loan that gave me enough money to be able to knock out the rest of my semester. Now, mind you, this is a time I had my own apartment, still got my own stuff now, but at this time I had my apartment, car note, and I had a full-time job, which was helping me with school. And when I say help, they pay a certain they pay a certain percentage for the tuition reimbursement. And you already know how that goes. That's another rabbit hole to go down. But it helps you. But at the same time, if you're not doing anything with that money, like putting it in the bank and you just spending it, what you just did was take that money and you just flushed it down the toilet. And when I say you flushed it down the toilet, it's because that means any money that they gave you, you did not do anything with it. You chose to go out and do whatever. People be like, oh, I got bills. But check this out. When you're going to college, if I had known this in the beginning, when you're going to college, you cannot look at any of the extra money that goes toward college and your school tuition as extra money. That's not. If you did not send it to the school, you basically just got money that you just flushed down the toilet. And the reason why I say that is because any money that you get that's towards school, you ought to put it towards school. But it's hard to do. Reason why? Because a lot of us is not conditioned to actually do that. And when you're not conditioned to do that, you are going to take that money and ball out of control. You're going to go out clubbing. You're going to go out on dates. Hey, I am guilty. I did that. Wine and dine, dates, partied. I don't know what I did with half of that money, but I did a lot of stuff with it, and I enjoyed it. But then at the end of the day, you suffer at the end where you should be close to the finish line. You're not. And I say that because when the money is going, it's all coming out of your pocket with the interest that accumulated throughout the years. So it's a no-win when you do that. And it's a rabbit hole that you can't really dig yourself out of. That's why you see people paying school loans for 20, 30, 40 years. It's never going anywhere. And it's just one of those learning things that you wish you were taught. But this is the sad part. You really can't be taught on something that a lot of people's parents don't even know. Especially if your parents don't understand the finances of college. One thing I've noticed, people are really excited when people get accepted into college or they're in school and they like, yo, they got a degree in something. But they never discuss how college is going to be paid for. This is something that needs to be discussed. Because what good is your degree if you can't even obtain a good financial free mind when you got so much debt dangling over top of your head? And right now, these are the times now where college is really hurting most Americans that are in debt with college, because they're now looking for you to now pay up now. It's detrimental to your livelihood, because if it's stopping you from buying a home, which the homes are overly priced now, so you already have a debt to income ratio that's already in the negatives. It is what it is. Anytime you're paying these loans back and it's more than your mortgage, or damn near like a mortgage, it's going to be hurt. It's going to be painful. Nobody likes to go to work and can't see the rewards, being able to prosper off of all the hard work that you put in. But like I told you before, government don't set things up to make it easy. They set it up so you can always keep paying them. I don't care what nobody tell you. People can say, yeah, but it's your own choice. Look, credit cards and majority of finance places understand how people think. They know everybody's not going to have the mindset and the smarts to understand how everything works. That's why they always prey on the young. This is why you're easily able to get a credit card with no actual real job in college, because they know that the likelihood of you being able to pay that credit card back on time is very slim. But they know eventually you're going to have to pay, because in order for you to want something out of life, you're going to end up turning 25, 26, 27, 30, whatever age. And now you're looking to change your life and say, yo, I done graduated college. I got my degree. I've been at this job for several years now. Now I'm looking to buy my house. Ching, ching. Time to pay. You behind on this credit card. Oh, your school loan. They're looking for you to pay. You haven't paid. More money. It's just how the finances work. So if you're looking to educate yourself on anything that you do. But college definitely does have to have its own course for introductory. Just like they say the introductory rate on the credit card, you need an introduction for how to start off college. What are your plans to be able to pay this back if you're not on a full scholarship? All right?